Ladies and gentlemen,
are you ready?
Hey, let me tell you something. You're listening to Roundtable Sports Talk, bringing you the latest, hottest, and up-to-date sports news across the world. With your hosts, Austin and Brett.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Well, I just did a Facebook Live video for like the second time ever.
Creepy.
First one, the last one was JP dancing with old people like a week ago. But that was fun. I'd never done that before. Lasted about a minute and a half, and there was a bunch of weird.
Camera shy, so Facebook Live is not my friend.
Yeah, well, that's why I chose the mask thing. It let me do a bunch of different
I was screwing around with it on the Roundtable Sports Talk page for like an hour. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had the camera
I've
off
never
to my
liked
side,
Facebook
though.
Live because every time I see someone on Facebook Live, they're just complaining about something or doing something dumb. I don't like watching them, but
Hey, check this out.
no one's probably going to watch what I just did, but I don't really care. It was fun.
4 people were watching.
Yeah,
saw
I
it.
did see that.
I was one of them.
Shout out. Right, sitting across from me. All right, well, we're going to start off with the Urban Meyer scandal.
Oh, God. We talked about this the first show.
Yeah,
remember?
we did hit on this a little bit a couple weeks ago. For those of you who didn't know, what was his name? Zach Smith
Yeah.
was a
Assistant
coach at Ohio State. He apparently had some domestic abuse problems in 2009. Had domestic abuse problems in 2015. The authorities were like
This was dating
involved
back
somehow.
to when he played for the Gators.
Yeah, well, the 2009 thing was, but then I think in 15, like the police actually got involved and like there was a report and blah blah blah, and no one did anything. No one cared. The university knew, blah blah blah. So, but apparently, Urban ended up finding out through the
wife.
grapevine. Really, yeah, his wife talked to another wife, and then I saw a report where I think he did go and tell the university at some point. So the university did know, decided to do nothing about it. Then it came out, I think it's July 23rd is when Zach Smith was fired.
Yes.
So that's around when it came out, like blew up big time because they found out Urban knew. So now Urban Meyer, as of last night or this morning, has been suspended for 3 games, first 3 games of the season.
And the Gene Smith.
Gene Smith, what is he? The athletic director
Yes.
of Ohio State. He's only suspended from August 31st, God, I got a lisp, 31st to September 16th. So he's suspended for like 17 days with no pay. Yeah. And I think they said Urban's going to go 6 weeks with no pay altogether.
Forfeit and pay. There's a difference.
Forfeit and pay. So I guess the big question is that everyone's like Twitter's blowing up everything,
It was
news.
hot, dude. Like as soon as they shined the report, like it flooded the whole.
Yeah, I mean, I got up at 6 and started watching the news. And I flipped to ESPN, and that's what they were talking about, and I was like, "Holy crap!" But of course, I found it on Twitter before I turned on ESPN because Twitter's the main source of everything.
Twitter gets the first hand of the
Yeah.
breaking news.
So yeah, that's that. So now, like I said, the question is now: do you blame Urban? Like, should he have been suspended? Should he have not been suspended, or should he have been fired? Is the question circling today?
Fired? No. Suspended? I'm on the fence about it, and not done anything is like. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
he did what he was supposed to do. And I feel like the university is just doing it just to do it.
Well, somebody had to go, had to take the fall for
And
it.
the report, I don't know if you read the whole report. It was like a 23-page report.
Yeah, it said down here, I think it was like an 11-hour meeting they had.
And have you seen some of the key points? He talked about deleting text messages. He talked about...
Okay, what they said was Urban Meyer at some point in the timeline, I don't remember what it was, he set his phone to delete texts when they became a year old, which most people do that. I know people that delete your text messages after 3 months. Like, they have it set. Or whatever the earliest is you can do on an iPhone.
I'm not
I
the
don't
one
remember.
who deletes my text messages.
I don't either. Mine are on there. But as someone like Urban Meyer, who's probably texting scouts and coaches and players,
Yeah, he's
and,
probably constantly on his
deans and
His phone's probably
he probably has 2 phones. Probably has 3 phones. You don't even know. Probably got personal, business, school, whatever. So
Trap.
yeah, Urban. So him deleting. I don't think that's a big problem. And anyway, I think they could go to the phone company and probably recover those records if they really wanted
You
to.
delete your phone, you just go to the phone company.
Yeah,
you
that-
subpoena the records like that.
Exactly. So, I keep using the same analogy where if I'm me, and I know someone, whoever it is, whether I'm close with them or not close with them, and I know their relationship with their significant other, is bad and it's not good and things are happening, it's honestly not my job to go to the police about that. It would be my job to maybe go to that person's friends or that person's.
But the problem is the police wasn't investigating.
Well, that I know. So like, no one done anything. Like the cops didn't do anything. The university didn't do anything.
And the university knew. Like, you can't tell me the university did not know.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me you hire a guy who has had to like a domestic abuse thing go on in 2009 and you still
Twice.
hired him anyway? Yes. So like I said, the cops did nothing. The university did nothing, and Urban did nothing. But Urban is being punished.
But they're trying to say Urban covered it up, and Urban did not cover it up.
He did not cover up. There's no such thing as a cover up.
That's what they're saying. Like, it does not make sense.
Urban took hearsay from someone, apparently passed it on to the university, who is his boss, and technically that coach's boss.
And that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to tell the university.
They employ you.
Exactly.
They did nothing. Now they're saying because Urban was over him, he could have took like I don't know what word they used, managerial.
They
or
said
some word where it was also his responsibility to do that. Here you go. This is, I guess, says according to the summary of the investigative findings and university actions. It says although neither Urban Meyer nor Gene Smith condoned or covered up the alleged domestic abuse by Zach Smith, they failed to take sufficient management action relating to Zach Smith's misconduct and retained an assistant coach who was not performing as an appropriate role model for OSU student athletes.
Look, domestic violence is a touchy subject this year, and I'm sure it's going to be just as bad next year.
Well, it's always the same. I mean, if the dude's doing it, like you know, damn right, he deserves to be
for sure. Yeah,
fired and stomped on, and stoned to death.
No.
BS. And
yes.
and what got me really upset was I'm not gonna say upset. I just think Meyer's dumb for this. His press conference this morning,
it was terrible.
It was like the same 4 words he said twice. He was like, "It's just not a good situation," or something like that.
I'm sorry we got caught. That's exactly
pretty
what
much.
He said.
Yeah. So
he said, "Everyone involved, I'm sorry we."
I think he said, "I'm sorry we're in this situation," and something like that.
Come on now, you can think of a better word.
He didn't say the girl's name,
no,
which should have been acknowledged.
Yeah, he should have.
He didn't say Zach Smith's name because everyone needs to know who did that.
Yeah,
and it's like, and I guarantee Urban has some direction from the university. They're
he was
like
reading off a script.
They're like, say this, only this, don't hurt our case.
He was reading off a script. You not see him look up and down?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's one of those things where if he protects himself, the university is going to be like, oh, bye. We're going to protect ourselves. You're going to go down for this completely.
For sure.
It's kind of like you took a plea deal. It's it didn't go to court or anything, but it's like, you have the public opinion, which is like the jury, and then you have technically Ohio State, who's like the judge. So it's like, okay, so Urban, you can go and trash your university that you work for, and present your case to the public eye, so you look good in their eye. But me, Ohio State, as your boss, your judge, we're going to wipe our hands with you. Or you can just kind of shut up, not say anything.
Take the suspension.
And take your 3-game suspension, and we'll move on and win some football games.
We deal with this with suspension all the time in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's the same. Yeah, if they're not smoking weed, it doesn't matter, apparently.
Come on. Zeke appealed twice.
Yeah.
Don't point at Zoe like that.
My dog's trying to get on camera right here.
I can see Zoe.
She wants to be part of the show right
Say
here.
hi.
No, she don't talk. She only talks to me.
Fatty.
But, so I think, to me, this is my thing. Everyone's on Urban's case. I think the university looks a million times worse than Urban does. Because they're covering it up, and then they're just giving Urban an old slap on the wrist right there.
Yeah, like a 3-game suspension. Come on.
I understand. You want to win football games. That's what you do. But if it's something like this,
it's bull.
It's just the problem is like everyone wanted them to leave Urban alone, or they wanted them to fire Urban.
Yeah, it was
and they went in the middle, and both sides are mad.
One extreme to the
other.
So
it's like I don't think Urban should have been suspended because I think he did about what he could do, other than just going to the dude's house and dragging him out and beat the crap out of him because you beat.
Don't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Is that what you wanted them to do?
What are you doing?
And then Urban gets suspended and goes to jail for battery. I mean, what do you want? So
we can move on because I'm not going to get more into it.
Yeah. So final thought on that is just
it's ridiculous.
Do you side with Urban? Do you side with the university, which is kind of the same, or do you side with the public opinion? And then does Urban deserve the suspension from the university themselves?
I don't think so. I think the suspension is bull, but we're going to go with that.
Yeah.
He ain't missing games. He's playing. It's Oregon State, Rutgers, and TCU.
Well, I imagine they're going to be able to have contact with him throughout the week.
For sure.
Like Urban, honestly, most head coaches in the NFL and college, they don't even have to be on the sideline. The team's still going to do what the team's going to do.
Facebook Live.
No, they're going to get in trouble and get called for cheating for that crap. But, like, if the coach sets the game plan up and the team follows the game plan, the only thing that they'd be missing out on is maybe some mid-game adjustments, but that's what your assistant coaches are for, which they'll be missing one because he just got fired for domestic abuse.
All right, wide receiver coach, you're up next.
Yeah, right? Don't do nothing bad. You're going to. Adrian Peterson.
There you go. Speaking of recent.
Oh, yeah. The Eagles are about to play the Browns. We'll get to that in a minute. Adrian Peterson.
Oh, boy.
He is in.
Had a nice little back and forth conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a little bit of.
A little bit of feedback.
Yeah, some arguments on Twitter. Not arguments, but, debating, talking.
Basically, what happened was. Will him going back and forth between teams ruin his legacy? Was the key start of the topic?
Yeah, we posted, because I saw it. It was some NFL guy on Twitter said, does he's saying why is no one talking about Adrian Peterson ruining his career by playing on these bad teams? Pretty much is what he was saying. So that was our question: is AP hurting his legacy by playing, or is he trying to just play football? And he's 33 years old. We know in the NFL as fans and people who watch the game that NFL running backs last till about age 30. And it has nothing to do with their physical ability. Like, I guarantee you Adrian Peterson is still in beautiful shape.
I guarantee you.
But it's the way the league views them. A coach is going to look at AP and be like, okay, you're 33. You're running, 4.4, 4.5, probably 4.5.
For the starting job.
You're still competing. You're still bulky. But I got a 2-year guy over here who – running the same speed as you, and I got 6-7 years to coach him, where I have a year or two to coach you.
We have 9 other running backs. What can you do?
Exactly. So yes, so the Washington Redskins signed him for the veterans minimum. It was like a $1.1 million deal with I don't know what the guarantee. I think the guarantee was like $600,000. What I was hearing today is they should cut him before the regular season.
That'd be some.
Then
stuff
re-sign him after week 1, and then you can give him money, and he gets no guaranteed money. So they could do that if he doesn't work out. They're saying he's going to get a lot of touches in their third preseason game because they're going to workhorse him. So right now we're going to talk about right now with AP. Like he's in year. Give me 1 second.
Dude's been in the league for a while.
He's in year 13.
Okay.
13-year running back, age 33.
Risky.
I know.
Is it risky though?
I know some of the great running backs did play late in their careers, but it was a different time. It was a different era.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore's the only one doing it. That's literally the only argument. And he's not even. I'm not gonna say Frank's not doing bad. I actually forgot
Did he finally retire?
Stats. No,
I don't know.
He's still in Indy.
Is he?
Or no, San Fran.
He's in San Fran. I thought he was in Indy.
Indy, yeah, he's still in Indy.
There's another guy in San Fran. I'm a 49er fan, and I still can't tell you.
I don't know, but I mean Frank Gore's still doing his thing. He's not great, but he's still being talked about. So that's what I was reading stuff today, and it said, is AP going to be Frank Gore? Is he just going to go?
He has a long way to reach Frank Gore.
Well, the problem is that Frank left the Niners and then went to Indy, and then he's there. He's been there, and he's doing well. AP was on 2 different teams last year.
Yes.
AP, I don't know. Did he go to New Orleans first? Mm-mm. He went to Arizona first.
I could have swore he went to Arizona first.
Okay, I'm not sure which one it was. It was both last year.
Doesn't matter. He played for
last year for Arizona. He had 450 yards, averaged 3.5 a carry, 2 TDs.
That's because
I think that was 10 games, 10 or 11 games.
Because who was their starting runner? It was David Johnson who got hurt. Remember?
Yeah.
And so they started.
So he did okay. 3.5 yards a carry for a 33-year-old guy is not bad.
Not bad.
Now that is for almost. I don't want to say it was 129 attempts. So that's half the attempts he would normally get. That's not terrible though. He did okay there. I think he had
And Arizona played some tough teams too.
I think he had 3 or 4 100-yard games when he was in Arizona for that year. So I don't want to say 3 or 4. He probably had 2 or 3, and then Then he went to New Orleans. I'm not gonna say then. Don't remember when he went, but he was played in New Orleans. I think it was 4 games. He had 27 touches.
But to look at that though, he was competing with
Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram.
Yeah,
which is great. But he came in there. I'm Adrian Peterson. I'm one of the best athletes to ever play running back position.
It was funny because I remember seeing Alvin Kamara a little report. It was last year, And he was talking about how cool Adrian Peterson was and the game he was giving people. And
Yeah, I mean,
which is surprising.
everything's good when you're the guy, but
He was not that guy.
he played 4 games, 27 attempts. That's, roughly 5 attempts a game. That Adrian Peterson's used to like 28 touches a game.
Yeah.
And he's a bruiser. He's going to run. You're not going to give AP 4 or 5 touches and hope he breaks one. You're going to give him 25 touches and hope he breaks 1 or 2. He only had 81 yards with New Orleans last year, and then he had averaged 3 yards carry, no touchdowns. So you dealt with the whole he was getting upset
Because he was getting the touches.
that he wasn't getting touches.
But he's dealing with that's the problem, though. He's dealing with 2 running backs.
And then Alvin Kamara ended up being amazing last year. So it's not like he can even justify wanting to carry the ball.
Exactly.
So,
But the question here is, does it ruin his legacy? No.
I think you have to wait and see. Because
It-
remember Brett Favre, when he left Green Bay, he went to Minnesota, did well for a year or 2 years, whatever it was. Then he went to the Jets. It was just atrocious. Well, then he remember he went Green Bay, retired, came back to Minnesota, retired, then came back to the Jets. So at least AP hasn't retired yet. But for everyone's view of Favre and everyone who the newer fans that didn't grow up watching Favre, they knew Favre from the last 2-3 years. They're like, who is this old guy that won't leave and is playing badly in these bad teams? So you look at it as somebody just watching the NFL the last 3 years. I mean, you got to go back to 2015 for him to have a good year. He had almost 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns, averaged almost 5 a carry. 2015. 16, he was hurt, only had 72 yards all year. And then last year.
It was his knee, right?
Yeah, he re-hurt his knee for the 100th time. So Adrian Peterson is a freak of nature. He is a great running back, one of the best to do it.
Is it 37 yards away from top 10?
Oh, the overall.
Yeah, his overall stats. Isn't he 12th right now?
The career rushing.
Yes.
Let me get back to the overall rushing yards. He's 12th in the overall rushing yards.
But he's close, to get into top 10.
Yeah, I think I looked at it. If he plays all year long as a starting back and plays, probably 13 games, if he gets 1,000 yards on the season, he's going to jump up to about number 8 on the all-time rushing list. Right now he's 12th with 12,276 yards. He could possibly go up and challenge Eric Dickerson, who's 8th, who has 13,260-ish yards. So he's about 1,000 yards off there. So he could do that. That would be amazing. He's never going to crack the top. I mean, Frank Gore's 5th with 14,000. So you're not going to crack the top 5.
Not unless he's willing to play another few years.
To get past Jerome Bettis and LT, he'd have to have 1,600 yards this year. Don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So, he is he's 9th in rushing TDs with 99. He is tied for 13th, and I think it was yards per carry. It was 4.8 in his career. So you look a lot of people are oh, Adrian Peterson's the greatest running back to do it, maybe except for
He ain't though. He's not.
If you take all those numbers and average them up, he's top 10.
Exactly. There you go.
Emmitt Smith is number 1 in yards.
You ain't catching him.
You're not catching Emmitt. He's probably the greatest back of all time.
For sure.
Then people probably go, okay, Barry Sanders. And then if people remember Walter Payton.
For sure.
Walter Payton is technically 2nd, and then Barry 3rd in yardage. Then everyone remembers Curtis Martin from the Jets. Other than Curtis Martin playing for the Jets, I don't remember anything he really did. But he only played for 10 years.
And he's
4th on the all-time rushing list. That's crazy. Then you have Frank Gore, LaDainian Tomlinson, Jerome Bettis, and then, like I said, back to 8th, Eric Dickerson.
I think the closest he could probably get is Frank Gore. I don't think he's going any further.
Like I said, that for Frank Gore, he'd have to run for about 1,800 yards left in his career.
Does he have it?
Again, I think he came out and said he wants to play 5 more years. If he plays 4 more years and averages 500 yards a year, he'll get up there.
Yeah.
But you can't go play for the New Orleans Saints for 4 games and get upset that you're not getting touches and get cut after 4 games. That's not going to get you there. You have to stay with the team.
And I feel like he'll do that with the Skins this year.
Well, they have Jay Gruden as a coach. I don't think he's going to give AP 20-plus touches a game.
No, not
it's
with
going to be hard. There are other running backs, if you don't know. I'm pretty sure Chris Thompson's still there, which was their starter last year, I believe.
And then Rob Kelly.
Rob Kelly, who is, I don't know if Chris Thompson is still there if he's hurt. They have him on the roster. But they're talking about Rob Kelly. I think Chris Thompson will be the starter, honestly, if he's healthy. And then Rob Kelly, I think AP will fight for second. And then they have the Perrine guy, which
AP's not,
I'm not sure about
out
him.
of the back. Catch it out of the back.
Oh, but recently he'd been, talking about his hands and how well his hands are and how they're getting better, blah, blah. He's never been a good receiving back. Let's just wipe that off the table right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The whole hurting the legacy thing, it's hard to hurt a guy's legacy when he's already the only thing, like, when he's already peaked, like, he's peaked. He'll never, like, 2012, he almost broke the rushing record. He ran for, like, 2,092 yards. He had to get, like, 100 and whatever it was, 27 or something. So, and that was, Minnesota gave him, like, 30 carries a game that year.
Like, he was
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
It's like a Zeke.
I remember watching it, and then he got, they got bumped out of the playoffs that year. Like, everyone thought there. So the other knock you have against him, which for running backs it doesn't matter, but it's the whole Super Bowl thing. Mm-hmm. If I look at this list of top rushers right now, obviously Emmett has one, or has a couple of Super Bowls. I have no idea if Walter Payton has one.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think Barry Sanders has one.
I'm pretty sure Walter Payton has.
I know Curtis Martin doesn't. I know Frank Gore doesn't. I know LT doesn't. I know Jerome Bettis has one. I couldn't tell you what Eric Dickerson has, or Tony Dorsett. And Jim Brown played in the 50s, so I think it was just like the AFL NFL championship back then. Mm-hmm. And Marshall Faulk, did Marshall win? He played for New England at the end of his career, didn't he?
Yes.
But I think it's the year they lost in 2007 to the Giants.
Was it 07?
Well, it says he retired in 2005, so maybe that wasn't him.
Marshall Faulk was a good running back.
Yeah. So the top 12 running backs and all-time leaders, Emmitt Smith, I'm going to say Walter Payton, are the two that have Super Bowls, I believe. And like I said, Jim Brown, Tony Dorsett, Eric Dickerson, way, 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 way before my time. We even know Eric Dickerson was the late 90s, but don't know what they have.
But, okay, so the person I was going back and forth with off of a Facebook page, mm-hmm. He said that he is for sure a first ballot Hall of Fame. And, that is really hard to do.
Well, it depends when he retires also.
Exactly.
If he plays 5 more years and he gets up to like third or second in the all-time rushing list,
maybe. It's a huge maybe. I don't think it's a definite yes.
Well, I'm about to look and see if there was any ever first-time ballot Hall of Famers, because I don't know if there's ever been a first one. Let me find the other stats I looked up. I said he had 99 rushing touchdowns in his career.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman?
What's that? Troy was a first-timer?
List of Pro Hall of Fame inductees.
So for touchdowns, okay, like I said, he has 99, which is tied with Barry Sanders. He's tied for 9th. Okay, how many touchdowns do you think AP gets this year?
5.
He had 2 last year.
5. I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go with 5.
Okay, 5. So 5 would put him tied for 6th with whoever John Riggins is, with 104 touchdowns. Jim Brown, 106. He could catch. Walter Payton, 110 if he were to get 11 in the next 2-3 years. Then it jumps to 123 of Marcus Allen. I mean, that's 24 touchdowns. If he plays 5 years, that's averaging 5 a year. He's not. I
don't think he's going to average 5 a year. No.
And then LT has 145, and then Emmitt Smith has 164. Yeah. So I think the highest he could get would be getting 10 more in the next 2 to 3 years, or 11 more, that would tie him with Walter Payton for 4th. So okay, so say he goes top 5 touchdowns for career. Okay, that's really good.
Ray Lewis was the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Ray was. Ed Reed probably was too.
Randy Moss, Brian Urlacher, Jason Taylor.
Okay.
LT.
Oh, well, it was that whole last freaking class pretty much then.
LT, Brett Favre.
Last 4 classes. Okay, well, it's more common than I thought.
Marshall Faulk was a first ballot
Okay,
Hall
so
of Famer.
when you say all of those names, do you put Adrian Peterson in the same category as Ed Reed and Ray Lewis?
No.
Because look, I have it right here. Okay, yes, I like AP. He's top 5, I think.
Barry Sanders was the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay. So
not happening.
his rookie year in 07, he had 1,300 yards. Then he had 1,700, 1,300, 1,300, under 1,000. Then he went for the 2,097 yards in 2012, which is his greatest year. He had 348 carries, averaged 6 yards a carry. That is could you imagine right now if there's a running back in the league that could average 6 yards a carry?
I can maybe see it through Zeke, but
maybe. And then so 13 he went for 12. Then he was hurt. Then he went for 15. Then he was hurt, and then last year he ran for 500. So he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years over 1,000 yards. So 7 out of 13 years he's had over 1,000 yards. And only 2 of the seasons were 1,200. The rest of that have been up. So it's not like he's just breaking 1,000. I mean, he's running 13, 14, 15, 16, 1,700 yards a year. His other years, I don't know if he was hurt in 2011. It might be when he got hurt. He only had 200 attempts. He's been hurt like 3 times. So that's a knock against him. His most touchdowns in a year were in 09. He had 18.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I could see it, him being a first ballot. If he plays 2 more years, runs for another 1,000.
But he has to break the top 5.
Well, I'm saying, if he runs for another 1,000.
Is it based on stats?
What's that?
The Hall of Fame?
No, it's not just stats. It's based on like overall what you did
Is
for
it
the
voted?
sport. I don't know who votes on it. I don't know if the people vote for it.
I think it's a committee, but I don't know I don't know how that works. Like if it's based on stats, then maybe I could see it.
But here's the zinger. Here's why I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Was it 2014 when he had the whole child abuse case against his son, saying he was whipping and beating his son? That was a big deal for AP. Everyone thought he was retiring that year because that blew up.
Yeah.
And that year he was hurt. He only ran for if it was 2014, he was hurt. 2015 he came back, ran for 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. So, which was his last decent year as a running back. So, that's a knock against his legacy right there, that you had to deal with something,
no doubt,
criminal.
Yeah.
Like Tom Brady has deflated footballs, and that's not criminal. That's frowned upon in the sport. But I mean, Ray Lewis went, even though he pretty much murdered a person. So 2 people, I think. But
or is it Ed Reed?
Ed Reed was probably there. He probably, loaded the gun. Not serious, but so you can overcome those things.
Yes, but it is still a knock on your legacy. I agree.
And then the last 2 years, he's done what he's done, being a locker room problem in New Orleans and just not playing well and being hurt. So I think the next 2 years are really important for AP.
In order to get a first ballot.
Do I think he's going to start with the Redskins? Yes. I think he's going to sell tickets if he can stay healthy. That's the other thing. Can he stay healthy? He'll sell tickets. They're not going to be good. The Redskins, their quarterback is Alex
Smith.
Alex Smith now.
Yes.
Alex Smith, with a good football team, is a 9-7, 10-6 quarterback. I don't consider the Redskins a good football team. I think they win 4 games. I'm done. Other NFC East team that not a whole lot surrounding the Eagles this year other than
quarterback
reigning Super Bowl champs, and they're quarterbacks plural. Coming out of the organization, there's no type of controversy. There's no type of who's going to play quarterback. We all know Carson Wentz is starting. But somewhere in the back of his mind, he's got to be like, God, I really wish Nick Foles wasn't here. Because if he goes out and doesn't perform at the MVP level that everyone wants him to, and if his knee affects his play,
he's
Philly
coming off
fans,
an ACL tear.
Yeah,
come on.
Philly fans are ruthless. I think you're going to hear some Nick Foles chants, and Twitter's going to blow up, and it's
going to be hashtag. It's going to be trending.
You just know, like Carson Wentz is probably a great team player. He probably loves all his guys. They love him. But in the back of his mind, he's like, man, if things start going south, like
I'm screwed.
Yeah, and Nick Foles, at this point, he has to go, okay, I've peaked. I'm Super Bowl MVP. I won one. Now I'm going to sit back and collect a check. Or, like I talked about with JP, does he go, wow, I really like that. I want a chance to compete again. Then he needs to go, and they need to trade him to one of these quarterback-needy teams. Because I guarantee you by like week 4, someone's quarterback's down and out. Whether it's Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, Big Ben, Tyrod Taylor.
I was about to say Geno Smith.
Yeah, no. So someone at some point before the trade deadline is going to need a quarterback, and I think your first grab is Nick Foles. Now, outside of the Eagles, actually even with the Eagles, he has looked mediocre. He has looked normal other than last year. But you look at the roster they had and the defense they had, he succeeded because of that team. So.
And wasn't. Never mind.
So I don't know. I have an article that I brought up. It was just, I think someone in the media questioned him about it, maybe, or something like that. You know, of course, he sounded fine. And he was upbeat.
Here's my take on it. Like, Wentz is still not healthy.
Which is true, which is why he's not playing in the preseason.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Scary. And at the same time, Nick Foles has a nagging shoulder problem.
Well, yeah, he hurt it against the Patriots, last week?
Yes.
But they said it was not a sprain.
No, but at the same time, like, who's their backup besides them two?
I don't know if they have another one. I'm not sure
There's
they
a problem.
do, but I don't know.
Like, if you're a Phillies head coach and you have two quarterbacks that are scary.
Well, they're both, I mean, I'm not going to call Wentz injury prone yet because it's just one time. And you know Foles.
But it's a bad tear though. Like,
yeah, I mean
was nasty.
Talk about that. I mean, AP did come back from what, 2 of them?
Yes.
So I mean, it's doable, and he doesn't have to run and cut like he does. And Wentz is a big guy. I don't even remember how he hurt it last year. Like what the
wasn't
play
it like
was.
the nasty? Like, remember when he went to go drive up into the end zone and he jumped and someone hit him so hard? Like, do you not remember that?
No,
Or I could be
can't
thinking of a different quarterback, but I could have swore that was the injury.
I'm not sure. I'd have to try and find the video, but because it was like week 12 last year or something.
Yeah, it was like at the end of the season.
Yeah, because Foles played the last 3 or 4 games.
I'm telling you, I think that's the video.
But it's not. He doesn't say much here. They say when Wentz is medically cleared to return from his knee injury, it's his show, meaning that it's unlikely, but Foles might not ever see another snap in the Eagles uniform after the preseason. Like I said, he could be traded, or just Wentz stays healthy and you never play again. And he came back and said that's the challenge. The challenge for anyone in my situation is that you just don't know. Like, he doesn't know if he's going to start tomorrow. He doesn't know if Wentz is going to be healthy. He doesn't know. Like, he might never get to go back into a game again if he just sits there and Philly and collects a check.
For sure.
So it's a good situation if you're the coach, I think, because you have a guy as a backup who you trust, who knows the system, who has won there, even for a short period of time, but performed in a big game. So
I was close. Sorry.
Who are you thinking of?
No, it was going in the end zone, but it wasn't like a nasty hit.
Okay.
He went to go like dive into the end zone, and someone like ran straight into his fully extended knee.
Yeah. See, and also he's got to learn that too. I know he's young. You can't just run around like a crazy person as a quarterback in the NFL.
You're gonna get hit.
I know.
With this.
Yeah. Well, I know they're making rules about the whole hitting in the head thing. So no matter who you are now, and also
it's hard. Like, come on, for kickoff return, isn't it really hard to stop at full speed?
Yeah, and that's why they're probably going to eventually eliminate the kickoff. Probably going to eliminate everything in the NFL. It's just going to be like, okay,
flag football.
It's stupid. I think they're going to fix the rule. Like I said, we touched on this last week. They have to fix it, or they're going to have players getting ejected that don't need to be. Like, there's no. It's like the NFL. It's like the college rule. Like, if you hit a guy the wrong way, they can just throw you out.
For sure.
And that's terrible for those, young players too in college. Like, you hit a guy just because you're running full speed, you get thrown out of the game. You're not even trying to be dirty. Like, you should be thrown out the game for a dirty play, not a gray area play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have to fix that. But
what are your predictions for the Eagles this year?
Eagles. Oh yeah, that's right. I did pull up the schedule, didn't I?
Yes.
So for all you Eagles fans out there,
really hard schedule. I hope to God you got at least an 8-8 season.
I'm always trying to be nice to the Eagles because R.I.P. my buddy Cam Naz, one of the biggest Eagle fans ever. God, I wish he could have seen him win it all last year.
That'd been something.
This year, I'm telling you right now, they have a tough schedule. Like, for those of you who don't know, they start off with the Falcons, which Eagles fans are proud. They are freaking proud.
Yeah.
Realistically, the Eagles-Falcons game could go 50-50. Then they play the Bucs, they should win. Play the Colts, they should win. They're going to play my Titans. I'm going to tell you right now, we're tough.
I don't see them.
So I don't know. They might win that one, they might not. I can't say. Unbiased opinion, they probably win. but
bias, they win.
Bias, Tennessee's going to win 50-0. Then they play the Vikings with Kirk Cousins now,
Yes.
formerly the Redskins.
They have a deep wide receiver group.
Yeah, their offense is gonna be
Diggs.
good. Their defense was, I think they had the number 1 overall defense last year, right?
Yes.
Jacksonville's defense was better, but the Vikings, I think, numbers wise, were technically
they were
ranked first. Whatever, I don't know. They were good. Then you play the Giants. You're probably gonna beat them because I don't think Odell's gonna be healthy or Eli's gonna be good. Get the Panthers. It depends which Cam Newton you're gonna get that night.
You're gonna get
Or that day, so they probably win that. So I don't know. That's
You're gonna
1,
get the
2,
Cam
3,
Newton
4,
picking fights with
5. That's 6. That's 7 games. I'm gonna give you 5-2 at 7 games right now. Then you play the Saints. I think they lose to the Saints this year.
Is it at home?
It doesn't say right here.
Say
I don't
versus
care
or
where
at?
it is. I think the Saints are hungry this year.
Saints play better at home.
Well, they always have.
Yeah.
But Kamaro's amazing. I think Breeze is going to step it up because no one's talking about him this year. They're always talking about Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz and
Breeze
Tom
is
Brady.
a sleeper.
He ain't a sleeper. He's just
sleeper
for him
as
to
he
be
is?
as good as he is and to like be. I'll say he's slept on right now.
There you go.
So I got him at 5-3 at midseason. Then you play Giants again. Win. We'll go 6-3. Skins, you win 7-3. I think you beat the Cowboys the first time, 8-3. The Rams game, I'm going to say the Rams get them. I'm going to go 8-4.
The Rams have a really good running back.
Yep. And then, I think I missed some games here. But then they play the Texans. I think they beat the Texans. Oh yeah, I did. I skipped a whole line.
Oh man.
Okay, so I had them 8-4 with the Rams. I'm gonna say beat the Texans 9-4, beat the Redskins again, 10-4. I skipped where they play the Jaguars in London.
Oh yeah.
I think they might lose to Jacksonville, but it depends how Jacksonville's offense wants to play. That Jacksonville is practically a home game in London, though.
Yes.
So if you do that, you could put them.
8-8, man.
No, I mean, if they split games with the Cowboys and they lose to Jacksonville, I got them going like 10-6. 50, the Atlanta game being 50-50, they could go 11-5. They're going to win their division because the Giants aren't going to win the division, the Skins aren't, and the Cowboys aren't. So
Whoa, Cowboys, huh?
I think the Eagles
You
have.
sleeping on the Cowboys this year?
I think they're going to make the playoffs as a wild card at like 9-7 maybe. So my honest opinion with the Eagles, they have a chance to go like 13-3 if they play very, very well, and they also have a chance to go about 10-6 if they have some off games because the Super Bowl hangover is real. I don't care. The only team it really doesn't affect is the Patriots, but any other team that goes to the Super Bowl or wins it, like look at Atlanta after they lost to New England 2 years ago, they were flat last year.
Flat.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Wentz will probably have a big year if healthy. Jay Ajayi, I don't know if he's going to be as effective as he was last year because everyone. I mean, he's really, really good. He has no
300-yard rushing games.
Yeah, well, that was all in Miami too, though. Before he got traded,
or was it 200?
It was 200, but like he had 2 of them in Miami, and then they traded them away, and then he went and got a Super Bowl ring. But their other back was LeGarrette Blount, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love me some LeGarrette Cush Blount. That's my boy. He's got like 3 Super Bowl rings.
2 with the Patriots and
one with the Eagles. Yeah. So, Eagles fans, it's going to be a tough season for you guys. It's going to be a roller coaster, I think. That defense can hold up, and if Carson can be healthy.
If Carson's healthy, I could see a 10-6.
No, I mean if he's healthy, I see you 13-3. But I think he's going to struggle early. I mean, you got to think it's been a long time since he's played a full speed football game.
Yes.
So that's why they need to get him into the preseason before he goes week 1 against Atlanta's defense.
For sure.
Because their corners and their DBs. They got some Gator natives back there that'll
tear him up.
Yeah. So he needs to play. But other than that, I mean, they'll be back in the playoffs, and the only team in the NFC that could really stop them if they get to the playoffs would be Atlanta. Or, everyone thinks the Niners are going to go far this year. I think that's
I think the Niners are going to do better than they have in the last few years.
Well, yeah, they should. And everyone's so hyped up on Jimmy G right now. I don't know. Exactly. Like I don't think I can tell you anyone that's on their team besides Jimmy G. Oh, and Richard Sherman.
Carson Hyde.
Carlos Hyde.
Carlos Hyde.
It's also funny to me. I was watching an interview about Richard Sherman the other day, and I was watching him in an interview talking about. I don't know. He was yelling at the media about something like usual, and then it struck me, and I was like, "Holy crap! You play for the Niners now." Like, you hated them for like 3 years.
Yeah, it was a rivalry.
You tried to fight them every time you saw them when they were bad, too. So now you're over there, and it'll be interesting to see what he does against Seattle this year. If he's going to be like all buddy-buddy with Earl Thomas and everything, which defensive players normally are together.
It's going to be backwards.
Him and Doug Baldwin, I think, will go back and forth a good bit. So that'll be fun to watch. But yeah,
I forgot about the Seahawks, man.
Well, everyone has because they fell off since they went to since they lost to New England.
I can't believe they couldn't get Marshawn Lynch the ball, man.
Should have run it. They also got Marshawn as a fantasy sleeper this year.
Really? The Raiders?
Well, just Marshawn, like, you know, as like a number 2 running back, and actually, yeah,
number 2.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he's not going to be a leading
RB1.
rusher, but yeah, he definitely should be a RB2. I mean,
I need to play fantasy football this year.
I don't think I don't even start 3 running backs. I normally do like 3 wide. I do like 2 wideouts. You think you get 2 running backs, and then your slot guy is normally another wideout. But I don't know. They said last season he was coming off of retirement and did okay. So this season he's coming off of playing, so he'll be more in shape and blah blah blah.
They said he's looking pretty good.
You see, he has a Skittles. Like, his face is on the Skittles bag now.
Yes, man. That's awesome.
That should have happened like 10 years ago. Back when he was beast moding things.
They say he's going to do more beast mode stuff this year.
I don't know. I don't believe in the Raiders. I think John Gruden, the fact that he still hasn't even like talked to Khalil Mack,
that's ridiculous.
Is a terrible coaching. I don't know if it's like a strategy he's playing or what it's supposed to be, but
terrible, man.
It's not smart. So
I forgot. Are the Raiders playing in Vegas?
I don't know.
No, L.A. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, L.A.
Is it L.A.? No, is it Vegas?
I don't know. There's so many teams that moved. The Chargers went to L.A. and the Rams went to L.A. The Raiders are going to Vegas.
Yes, okay.
But I don't know if they're there this season or
if
they're craps. That's the thing that's what I hate about the NFL. This is why teams shouldn't move, because I never know when the team's actually moving and when their stadium.
I'm pretty sure it's built.
Because I think they're supposed to play in USC stadium. The LA teams are for like this year maybe, and then their crap's getting built. And the Raiders, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, why would you even want to go to Vegas?
Bro, Vegas.
Like, bro, you want to go to Vegas this weekend? Yeah, you trying to go see some strippers? No, I'm going to see the Raiders play.
I want to go see the Oakland Raiders play.
Like, no, well, it'd be the Vegas Raiders.
Come on now.
Let's go to the Raiders. I'm sorry. Oh, it sucks. So bad. They're going to be terrible. I'm sorry, Derek Carr. Yes, you had so much promise.
They have good wide receivers, too.
They got Jordy Nelson this year.
Golly.
Along with Amari, and I don't know if Crabtree's still there or not. I think
Crabtree's slept on, too.
He balled last year.
For sure.
Oh, no, he's gone because they had the whole him and Aqib Talib thing in the preseason because they were with their new team. So Crabtree's gone, which is surprising because he was actually balling last year. But
better than Amari Cooper.
Well, Amari had that, like, sophomore slump or
I had him on my fantasy team, man. I had to get rid of him.
Well, when you become, it's just like any position in the NFL, when you come dominant, the next year you normally suck. So watch out, Jalen Ramsey.
We're not going to go hold another show.
No, we're not doing that. We're about to wrap it up here. I've covered everything I want to cover.
Yep, we hit it.
Recap, Urban Meyer. Should he have been suspended? That's for you to determine. AP and the Redskins. Does him jumping team to team late in his career and possibly not staying very long at those franchises hurt his legacy overall? And what is in store? Bring AP to Jacksonville?
Yeah, we're bringing AP to Jacksonville.
No, I think Fournette would punch him. And then what's in store for the Philadelphia Eagles this year? Possibly another Super Bowl run or a bust.
Definitely a playoff run, I can tell you that. So
check us out. Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Facebook, website.
iTunes, Google, Spotify.
Are we on iTunes?
Yes, sir. You can name every streaming
Go
thing.
to I didn't know we're on iTunes. That's
we need a review,
crazy
man. We need some reviews.
Listen, we're getting like really good conversation on Facebook about like half of these topics that I came up with here for today were because I was talking and Brett was talking to people on Facebook about it.
I was going ham.
So like it's hard to come up with things that we think people want to listen to. So if you talk to us throughout the week about it, then we can recap it on the shows. I think what I'm going to try to do, I haven't even told you yet, is when the football season starts, we need to start trying to do it like Monday night or something, or Tuesday. We have to get like a recap the day after the games because I don't want to be recapping on like a Friday what happened on Sunday.
Thursday night football, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to try and move
Monday
earlier in the week so we can post the podcast a day or so after all the games. And eventually more news other than NFL will come up.
NBA, bro.
LeBron's the highest rated player on 2K again.
For the last
Because he's
15 years.
the best player in the world.
Don't even start, bro.
Everyone was debating that a little bit. I don't really care. I haven't even bought the new 2K yet, so
I'm still at 17.
I'm on 18, boy, but I'm in like year like 2027. I got I'm in like 2027 because I have Antetokounmpo still.
You still have Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, I've won 5 championships. So it's pretty lit.
Yeah.
But
Don't even get me started on basketball, bro.
Please check us out on everything. And we didn't get any call-ins tonight.
Yeah.
No one wanted to talk to us, unfortunately.
I want to talk to you. There's a difference.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get people to call in.
It is, bro.
You guys don't want to give your opinions.
Facebook trash.
Need to tighten up. We're going to go live eventually.
Yeah, you need to come to my house, bro.
Well,
You need to
yeah,
get
I
this
know.
good Wi-Fi going.
Well, listen, I just did it on my phone because my phone service is great. But
See, that's the problem, though. My phone hotspot don't
I
work.
got this podunk Wi-Fi out here. Like, sucks.
For sure.
But all right, well, if you listened, thank you and I appreciate it.
We will see
Round
you.
Table Sports Talk.
We will
Spread
see
the
you
word.
next week. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
All
See
right,
you.
have a good one.
Good evening. That will conclude this evening's entertainment.
Wait a minute. Oh, my.
That's this week's episode of Roundtable Sports Talk podcast with your hosts, Austin and Brett. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Roundtable Sports Talk. Thank you for listening.